everybody, it's Lights Camera Jackson and welcome to LCJ Live. Today is Sunday, March 19, 2023. Hope you had a fun St. Patrick's Day, enjoying the March Madness, the March Movie Madness. That's what I'm going to talk about today. Shazam, Fury of the Gods is your new #1 movie with $30.5 million. It's lower than people expected, but it's about what the box office expectations were this past week because they just kept getting lower and lower and lower for a film that's not very good. I wasn't a fan of the first Shazam. I thought it was very mean-spirited and something kids shouldn't see. No one should see the sequel either. It's not quite as mean-spirited as the first one, but it doesn't have a lot of excitement to it, a lot of originality. It's a very dated story. And if, like I said on 99.5 The River the other day, if you're gonna do a movie with a dome, come on, Simpsons movie did it, and did it so well 16 years ago. Shazam is 30.5. Look, that's right in line with The Suicide Squad from summer and a half ago, summer of 2021. That was also an HBO Max release. In fact, it was an HBO Max release. Remember, they put it out on Thursday night as people were going to see it in the theater Thursday night as well. They just wanted to get it out there. So it's right in line with that. Less than half of what Black Adam made back in October. That's the really interesting thing. We're not going to get a Black Adam sequel. We're not going to get that future incarnation in the DCEU for what James Gunn is going to do. But look, Black Adam did more than double this just in October. So much more intrigue and interest. Also not a very good film, but so much more in that, clearly, than a sequel to Shazam 4 years after the first one came out. 30.5. It's not going to be #1 next week. Of course, John Wick is #1 with Keanu Reeves. I got him here and for The Matrix, but he's back in John Wick. We'll talk about John Wick and the late Lance Reddick here in a moment. Do want to mention your #2 and #3 movie, pretty strong. $17.5 million for Scream 6. It is at $76 million, just about $5.5 million away from tying, and then will surpass last year's Scream 5th installment from Paramount, the reboot in the franchise. They made a new one in 14 months, and now it's going to pass that. So a decent second weekend for Scream 6, $76 million total. Creed 3, with another strong weekend, $15.4 million. It's at $127.7. It has passed the first Creed. It has passed the second Creed. There's going to be a Creed 4. There has to be at this point. Could do another $10 million next weekend, maybe a little less. It'll depend on just how well John Wick does. But Creed 3 doing very well for Amazon and MGM. If you're watching here live on YouTube Live, send in your questions and your comments. 65 made another $5.8 million. It's at 22.4. So it made, since last weekend, last Sunday, at the 12 million mark. It's made another 10 million since then. Let's see. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, 4.1 million. It's at 205.8. Will Disney try to force it to get to 217 to beat the last one? I don't think you can force 11 or 12 million at this point. You'd have to do another 4, and then another 4, another 3, another 2. Maybe they'll try, but organically, I don't think this new Ant-Man is going to pass the last one from 2018, which is underwhelming for Disney and the MCU. Right behind Ant-Man, with 3.9 million this weekend, Cocaine Bear from Universal, 58.5 million total. It'll pass 60 million, and that's a good number for that film. Another 3.5 million for Jesus Revolution. It's at 45.5. I think it will pass 50 million for Lionsgate. Champions in its second weekend added 3 million. It's at 10.6 for Focus Features. You got Avatar: The Way of Water, another 1.9. It's at 678.1. Of course, now an Academy Award winning film, winning visual effects, the one category we all thought it was going to win, knew it was going to win. And then rounding out your top 10, it looks like, is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish with another 1.5 million. It's at 182.6, Academy Award nominee for animated feature. Lost to Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio a week ago today. Yeah, that's right. The Oscars was a week ago today. I did pretty well with my predictions. 17 out of 23. Of course, Everything Everywhere All at Once dominated with 7 wins. And in its theatrical re-release this weekend, nearly a year to the day after it opened in theaters, it added $1.3 million. It's now up to 75 $1.6 million for A24. So a Best Picture win boost for a movie that's been on DVD and digital and various platforms and Showtime for several months, but people still want to go see this in the theaters, in some cases multiple times. A film called Inside with Willem Dafoe, also from Focus Features, opened to about 470,000 this weekend in 300 or 400 theaters. Gonna try to get the results for Moving On. This is the Lily Tomlin, Jane Fonda film from Roadside Attractions that opened in some theaters this weekend. Maybe it did close to $1 million. Not really sure as of this moment in time exactly how much money Moving On made this weekend, but maybe we'll get that result here soon. Want to mention the passing of Lance Reddick. Of course, known for his role in the John Wick movies and many television shows and films. He filmed many movies and shows already. The Percy Jackson series for Disney+, the John Wick spin-off movie, The Ballerina with Ana de Armas. He filmed that before his passing at the age of 60 years old. Last summer, I interviewed the makers, the creators, of the new Netflix animated show, new at that time, Farzar, and Roger Black and Waco O'Gwyn. They told me that they played video games with Lance Reddick every week. This game called Destiny. They were good friends with him. Lance Reddick was a lead voice actor on the show, and they are heartbroken by this passing. Just a week before the release of John Wick Chapter 4. It is very sad. Lionsgate, Keanu Reeves, Chad Stahelski, the makers of the movie are dedicating the film to him. And yeah, it's pretty sad. Pretty sad, the passing of Lance Reddick. He will be missed. He'll be remembered for his roles not only in John Wick and in animation and his upcoming work that we'll get to see. Just a very, very sad situation. Especially after he did press. He just did press for the movie. I have friends and colleagues who just spoke with him a few days ago. He was paired with Ian McShane for some interviews for John Wick Chapter 4. Very sad. Crazy Wonder says, Pinball the Man Who Saved the Game was a delightful film. All right. Thank you, Crazy Wonder, for commenting here on LCJ Live. If you've got questions or comments, your thoughts, how much money is John Wick Chapter 4 going to make this weekend? Well, the third one opened to $56 million back in 2019. I think this can do more than that. I think this can do $70 million. Much, much more than what the Matrix movie made in December of 2021 when you're talking about Keanu Reeves. That was an HBO Max release as well as theaters, but I think this is going to do much more than that and much more than the last John Wick. This John Wick could get $200 million domestically, worldwide, bigger than $400 million. I think this is going to do very well. It's been nearly 4 years since the last John Wick. Everybody is waiting for this. And the film opens this weekend, and I think it's going to do very well, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. I've seen a couple movies that I've already seen a couple movies that come out this Friday. One is called The Lost King. This actually came out, when I saw it, at Film Columbia in October of 2022, and this was the Saturday night sneak. They do this every year. Before the Regal Mystery movie got this underway, where you don't know what the movie is until the curtain opens, the film starts. Film Columbia in Chatham, New York, has been doing this for many years. 22 years, how long their festival's been going. The Lost King stars Sally Hawkins and Steve Coogan, and he co-wrote it, and Stephen Frears is behind it. It's the Philomena team. True story film. It's a nice movie. It's got a good story to it. Do I think it's as emotionally powerful as Philomena? No, it's not. But it's a good film. It's in select theaters this weekend from IFC. The Lost King, about Richard III, finding his remains, and then Sally Hawkins' character, based on a real person, sees the presence of Richard III. Yeah, it's got some moments, but it's got some elements that I don't think ring quite as true as they should, and a story arc that's fairly familiar, fairly straightforward, but it's a good film. The Lost King. That's in theaters Friday. I've also seen a movie. It's in select theaters now, but it's coming to VOD Tuesday. It's called Wildflower. It stars Kiernan Shipka. It's also got Gene Smart and Jackie Weaver and Brad Garrett. It's a good cast. Alexandra Daddario's in it. And it is a coming-of-age movie, a teen movie, a movie about finding yourself through your eccentric family. And it's got some highs, it's got some lows, it's got some, again, parts that are emotionally resonant, and some parts that are a little too wacky, a little too over the top. But Kiernan Shipka, through and through, gives a fantastic performance. I'll have more with Mike Sargent. We're going to review Wildflower. We're also going to review Boston Strangler on Too Fast, Two Films. New episode will be out in a day or two at toofast2films.com. Brand new Animation Scoop Q&A and LCJ Q&A podcast episode coming at you tomorrow. My conversation with Andy Samberg and Neil Campbell about their new Comedy Central animated series called Digman. Premieres this Wednesday night at 10:30 after South Park. And it's a fun show about archaeologists. And I can't really get into too many more details until tomorrow at about 11 a.m. Eastern, that podcast episode, Animation Scoop Q&A, and some video clips will start coming out from my conversation with them. But it was a lot of fun. We did it the other day, and Andy Samberg is great. Very nice, very down-to-earth. Neil Campbell, nice as well. They teamed up previously on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Neil was a writer and producer on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, became friends with Andy. Actually years before that, and then they reunited on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and they were talking about what do we want to do after this, and they had some ideas, and they pitched this one about archaeologists. It's a Indiana Jones, Nicolas Cage, National Treasure kind of combo character, action animated comedy series that goes around the world, Digman. And so we have a great conversation. Andy Samberg, of course, from Saturday Night Live, won an Emmy with Justin Timberlake. He's been in many animated films and shows over the years. We talk about some highlights of that, including Chippendale Rescue Rangers, Hotel Transylvania, Space Chimps, Cloudy. He did a memorable voice role on SpongeBob, and so we talk about his voice career impact and more. Andy Samberg, that new interview will be available tomorrow. There you go. Yeah, we just had a little visual technical thing there, but I think we're good now. You enjoying March Madness? I'm not in it this year with the bracket. I decided not to do it, but there have been so many upsets. Wow. And Bill Murray in my neck of the woods of Albany, New York. I think he'll be back today to see some of the games, but that's so cool that Bill Murray has been in Albany the past few days, seeing some of the games for March Madness. That is great. Not going to be an LCJ Live next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern, but it may be Saturday. It may be on a different day and time. I've got some exciting things coming up that I'll be able to share soon. So not next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern for LCJ Live, but probably a different day and time for the next episode of the show. As always, go to Twitter at LCJ Reviews, Instagram at LightsCamJackson. The website is lights-camera-jackson.com. Again, the podcast episode is out tomorrow. You want my full review of Boston Strangler, which is a very good movie. It's on Hulu now. It's on the website. And got a cool Best Picture Presenter blog piece that's up there now on the website, and some more content I'll be able to share with you soon. I think John Wick's going to do about 75 million. That is my official prediction. I'll be seeing John Wick later this week. Some more movies later this week. Caught up on Knock at the Cabin last night. Thought it was... been seeing some other movies that I've enjoyed and some I haven't enjoyed quite as much. I'll be able to share my thoughts on a film called Showing Up with Michelle Williams very soon and more. So stay tuned for all of that. Thank you for watching today's episode of LCJ Live. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time. I am Lights Camera Jackson. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.